Hello guys, this is Anush with another tutorial, and this is on how I made these render settings. Really cool render settings. I don't know why I did that, but yeah. People thought it was a long render, but actually it was like 15 seconds per frame. And yeah, so watch my animation if you haven't watched it. And this is my new animation I'm working on. It has a different render setting, slightly different, just different color correction, less glow, and that's about it. But yeah, and a little fog also. Fog makes a big difference. Anyway, so this is the setup I have, and this is the render. I'm gonna show how to do the render later, but I'm gonna show you some examples. So this is with no global illumination, nothing, just a normal plain render. This is global illumination. This is with fog. Yeah, a big difference, just putting fog. This is what I use for my new animation. I didn't use it in my tennis animation though, because depending on the mood, you would have a different render settings. So this is with ambient, oh no, this is with a glow. As you can see, it's glowing now. That's the secret, a nice glow. And you can see that amount of time it took to render it. So this was 8 seconds, 36 seconds, this is 36, this is 37, this is 1 minute 33, this is with ambient occlusion. It adds a little shadow next to each whatever. Anyway, this is anti-aliasing with anti-aliasing. So as you can see, the rocks and the rough edges, they are more smooth with anti-aliasing, but the render time went up by 3 minutes for a frame. So 4 minutes 47 seconds for a frame. And this is the render I used for my tennis animation. It has the secret was color correction actually, and yeah, that's about it. And glow. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you some example. So this is the tennis animation render. I've just added color correction, and as you can see, it looks really cool now. So I'm gonna show you how to make the lighting now. Let's grab the Coliseum. Let's just delete the lighting which I have already had on it. This is the Coliseum. I didn't make this one, but I have made a different Coliseum which is actually better than this one. I just used this one because it decorated, and I'm only going to be using the inside bit of the Coliseum. I'm not going to show the outside, but yeah, if you want you can see my other Coliseum that I have made. Anyway, let's make a sky. Let's get new material, color, gradient, and click on that. Go to, what am I doing? 2D UV, change this to a lightish blue. So depending on the color of your sky, you need to change the color correction. So yeah, and this slightly darker. That looks okay. Just bring this up. And off specular. Okay, so now grab it onto the sky. And already, if I add double illumination, which is what lights up everything, I set it at low because I just hate rendering. So, and once I get a new computer, I'll probably increase it. But if you have it at low, the problem with that is you get some black flashing on some edges. I know you can see it in my tennis animation. So yeah, already you can see it's blue. The irradiance catch, or whatever you call it, irradiance pass, and as you can see, it is blue. And if you do some color correction, it'll look pretty good, but yeah, it doesn't have shadows. But yeah, so let's get some shadows with sunlight. So get sunlight, go to sun, change off this. So now we have control of the sun. You have control of this. If you don't off it, you can't move it, and you can't change the color. So let's change it to white. Go to here and put this at like 20,000, and then yeah, and then as you can see the sun is right over there. So what I did was I just made a new null and grabbed the sun into that and then rotated it above the Colosseum like so. So now let's render it. As you can see, it looks pretty good now with some shadows. If you like, you can change the settings here. And now I want to show you the environment, which is fog. So if I just put this at 100 and enable fog, and I need to see my previous render. Okay, so you change this, you have this at 0, I think. Yeah, and then put this to 150,000 and 100%, and if you like you can change the color, whatever. And now if I render, as you can see it's white now because the fog. If you change it to affect background, I think it will change it back to blue and you will see the sky. But if you render it like this, now the sky is white, which I'm not concerned about because in this animation I'm not going to be showing the sky a lot, so it's not going to be important. So, and if I render it without, yeah, so it's blue. Actually I'm not going to use the environment, I'm just going to show you the tennis animation render because that's what y'all wanted. So now let's go to effects, glow. So this is what I had it on for my tennis animation, 3 and 10. But for this, I set it, for my gladiator, I have it at 5 and 2 and 5. So I'm going to show you the tennis animation one. Okay, and now render. Okay, as you can see, everything is glowing now. Looks okay depending on the mood again. So I'm gonna put it at 2 and 5 because yeah, whatever. Okay, you can add ambient occlusion if you like, but I don't have it in my render settings, I don't use it. So 180 and evaluate transparency, that's what I normally set it at. But the reason why I enable this is because if you don't enable it, alpha channels turn out black. So yeah, then go and add lens effect. Yeah. What this does, if you select the sun, you probably all know this by now because my previous tutorial I have it on it. So lens, default, edit, changes somewhere here and orange, and increase this. And actually if you think you need to off glow, otherwise it looks weird, but you don't really need to off it. So let's render it. Off ambient occlusion. So now you have the sun with some lens effect. It's important that you have lens effect, otherwise you won't get that. Okay, so what to do with anti-aliasing? So you select it and change this to best, and that's all really. My render settings is I set this at 1280 by 540 and 24 frames a second, and all frames of course, and save to JPEG. And option, I have this at none, and this all at low, and this like that, and no global ambient occlusion, and that's about it. So really fast render. Let me see, yeah, that's about it. So I think I made it clear, so let's get to the color corrections. So let's make a new one, new project, do and save. And let's get this one, which is the tennis animation picture. So yeah, and it's bluish, and it's very important you do this. Since it's at 540p, you would right click, composition settings, and you change this to 720p. It increases the quality a lot. I found out with my Brian thing series, whatever failed series. Yeah, so important you do that. Now make an adjustment layer. That's what I always do, so I don't have to go and edit all the layers for color correction. So adjustment layer. Now add some curves. You really need to learn curves. It's like really cool. So just RGB. I normally set it like this. Then red, I have it like this. Blue, green, I have it like this. Ooh, looking purple. Blue, that. And yeah, it looks pretty cool now. That's about it for color correction. And another thing, I will set it up and I will show you. So it's called force motion blur, and as you can see, it's blurred when you move the camera fast or something, or something's moving pretty fast. You would add this blur. So type here force and just grab it to your adjustment layer, which I already have. Then my adjustment layer, and I forgot about hue and saturation. So I set it at -20 depending on the mood again. So it gives a more black and whitish look, which I like because it's a gladiator movie, and that's what I've seen in more like movies such as like this. You would reduce the saturation a lot. Okay, force motion blur. So you grab it onto the adjustment layer and you would set this at 8. And when the camera, if it changes frames, what you would do is you would keyframe it at 8 and then keyframe it at 0, where it changes the frame, changes the position of the camera, because otherwise there's like a weird change frame, whatever, the frame is messed up. So you would put it at 0 and then put it back at 8, and so the transition is not blurred out. That was a horrible explanation. Anyway, did I forget something? Yeah, so that's about it. Hope you learned something. And by the way, this is a quick clip for my new animation. Really cool. Pretty violent. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Download the creeper, it'll help me a lot. It's $15. No one has downloaded it so far, just 2 people. And yeah, because everyone has now pirated everything, so it's disappointing. Yeah, so see you later. That's the weird outro. Okay, whatever.